This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And first, we're going to steal Mike Hawk's thunder. But today, we toast an unidentified college student from somewhere. Basically, all of my available information comes to me courtesy of a TikTok video, or, as I call it, just to make my daughter angry, a video from the Tickety Talks. I cannot explain how quickly that sets her up. It's TikTok. I'm like, what's TikTok? She's like, TikTok. I'm like, the tickety-tockety is TikTok? I can't explain it. It's, dude, seriously, it makes her lose her. It's like nails on the chalkboard. Dad, I got a video. Is it on the Tickety Talks? It's on YouTube. I was hoping to be the tickety-tockety. But today we toast this young woman because her roommate took the time to film her and then posted this particular video to the tickety-tocketies. Now, as it goes, you start watching the video, and it shows the roommate. She's asking her unnamed friend what the problem is, because her roommate is kneeling on the floor just bawling. I mean, she is crying hysterically. And all you hear her saying is whether or not she can, quote, resubmit her paper. Now, the long story short, basically it's this. In the email that she had sent to her teacher, she has to turn in a major project. It's a big, long-ass paper she has to write. Well, the problem is she did the paper, but the one thing she did not change when she went back to double-check is what they call her placeholder as far as the sub. So you do this thing in Word. When you go to Word, you know, which file do you want? And that's the placeholder. She had to call the teacher, and she was now in tears with the teacher, and asked the teacher, please let me resubmit the paper. It's not that I want to edit it, the body of it. I just want to change the name. But at this point, it was too late because the teacher discovered that the title of the paper that she sent to the teacher for her major project was titled Stupid Effing Paper That Has No Meaning. Keep in mind, that was on the top of each and every single page, but she hit send before she managed to get rid of that. So now she's crying. Now, the good news is her professor laughed a little bit, allowed her to change the name and resubmit the paper. Don't know what her grade was, but they even have a follow-up video of her on the phone begging the teacher and apologizing. And she said, like, look, what does she say? Normally I use titles like that to get my creative juices flowing. Again, effing paper that has no meaning. That's not getting your juices flowing. That's, I hate this class and I hate my teacher. But anyway.
Paper better be good.
I really hope so, man.
It seems weird to even type it out.
Right. Just don't do it. Just don't type it on there. Say anything.
And if nobody else was going to see it, what was the joke? Just for her?
Just for her. And now for her and her teacher and the 5.9 million downloads that the video got on the tickety-tocketies. So let's drink. We pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So, over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Hey, Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. But first, thank you for the solid advice. Start calling YouTube the YouTubies. It's a simple game, Miles, where we share with you a real-life news story. Something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes a story a story. Hello, Taylor. Welcome to the men's room.
Boo, bitches.
Boo! All right, Taylor, you understand how this here game is played?
Totally do.
All right, fantastic. As you know, you have one of three stories to choose from. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did somebody find in their food? And finally, interior decorating. That's where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
I'm feeling some interior decorating.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, this story, while it's disgusting, it's not as invasive as many other stories that we've had. But here is your story in interior decorating. In this case, we go to the fine country of India, where we're dealing with a man in prison. And the reason we're dealing with him is because 4 objects were found in the stomach of the 32-year-old prisoner in a jail that I cannot possibly pronounce. You see, he was hiding the objects in his rectum, but they found their way up. Now, according to the police, the prisoner had constant, unbearable stomach pain, after which he was rushed to the hospital. That, of course, led to the discovery. The police said that the man, Deva Ram, who's lodged, again, in a prison I can't pronounce, for the last 18 months, just keep that in mind. He'd already been in jail for a year and a half. He started suffering unbearable pain. When asked about the cause, he did confess to, quote, forcefully inserting the objects into his rectum. Now, he was immediately rushed to the hospital, but the confession was, in fact, proven true when they did an x-ray and showed the objects clear as day, wrapped in plastic inside of his rectum. However, now that he's stable, they're saying once he's discharged, jail officials, they're going to interrogate him to find out who supplied the objects inside of the jail, since he'd been in there, again, for the last 18 months. Now, the question for you is, what did he, and again, I quote, forcefully stuff into his rectum? Was it cell phones, cigarette packs, joints, or bags of cocaine? So cell phones, cigarette packs, marijuana joints, and bags of cocaine. One of those 4 things went up the old tailpipe and got stuck there.
Well, see, with the wonderful use of the word forcefully, I'm feeling it could be cell phones, but let's hear what you guys got to think.
I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying if it were me, no matter what, the quote would have been gently, slowly, and over a period of days and through tears.
Cigarettes, I feel, would break in your intestines. I feel like they would get soggy somehow, even if they're wrapped in cellophane. I think your body's acid would break that down for that long period of time.
Well, remember, they ended up in his stomach, but he started with the backside.
I think it's cell phones. As ridiculous as that is, I think he's got cell phones.
Yeah, I mean, any of those would be highly sought after in jail. He's in jail, right? Not prison.
Yeah, I guess same, but he's been there for 18 months. So at that point, I'm going to say prison. He's already been in for 18 months. So that's why they want to get him, once he gets out of the hospital, and say, where did you get these from? Who supplied you the contraband?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's got to be phones. Just because the other stuff, I don't know. The other stuff just seems like it would break up or something. Yeah. Cocaine you could hide in small little balloons.
Just seems like you might get sick.
An intact joint seems tough. But yeah, I think he just went too far up and now he's...
Definitely went too far up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the old one iPhone.
So you're going to go cell phone side?
Well, I feel like if you're forcing cocaine in your rectum, maybe you'll get a little taster so you can sample it so it wouldn't be as bad. So I'm sticking with cell phones.
You're going to go cell phone as well,
cell phone.
All right, so sweep on cell phones. We're going to find out what that guy had in his stomach. Was it cell phone, cigs, marijuana, or cocaine next?
That was a tease.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
All right, let's clear this garage. Start a pile here for donations, one over here for recycling, and one more over here for trash. Hang on, what are you doing?
Recycling?
We may need that paint one day, and that can't be recycled.
First, this can looks older than me. And second, paintcare.org says you can.
Paintcare.org. Let me see. Oh, and there's a drop-off site close by. And it's free? Nice.
Dad, no.
The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Profiler takes us to India, and the topic, interior decorating, with a guy in jail, and he has some stomach pains. Something's in his stomach. Turns out what was in his stomach was inserted through the backside.
That is correct.
And they did an x-ray and said, hey, you got crap in your stomach. This is why you have these stomach pains. Question is, what contraband did he have in his stomach? Cell phones, cigarettes, marijuana, or cocaine?
And Taylor, that is the very question that we posed to you. And you said personally, listening to the story, one of the quotes is that the guy admitted that he forcefully inserted contraband up there. And you said for that reason you believe cell phones. And then you referred to the resident experts here. And both Ted and Miles, they both agreed cell phones. You agree cell phones. Cell phones for everybody.
We finally got one, all of them.
There you go.
It never happened.
Someone corrected you, Ted. They said it's the brown iPhone.
The brown iPhone.
Brown iPhone, yes.
Jesus. Now, for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, Armageddon. The Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, your choices today, Seth Meyers.
Oh, we do have Seth on the list today.
Yeah, he's on the list. Yeah.
The Jimmys.
Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel.
Or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It's right there in the title. All these guys have teams of professional writers that come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom? Or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
A news story came out and said a state trooper that was dating Governor Cuomo's daughter got transferred to the Canadian border. Cuomo? More like Quo-no.
The Ted Smith.
Ted Smith.
Damn it. Try to keep a straight face on that one. Did you see where they put that guy?
What town did they take him to?
Plattsburgh,
New York.
Mm-hmm.
The name tells you all you need to know.
He was just dating his daughter.
No, not dating.
I believe they were dating.
I feel like when you date someone, they don't necessarily hate you. If you've done things that people do the date, but you're not dating, father.
She's also an adult, right?
I'm not.
Yeah, she's 25.
Yeah.
And the cop's 35. It's not that crazy for 35 or
right. I mean,
a 40-year-old to date a 30-year-old.
No, not
like
all.
a 10 throws that out there.
25-year-old. Right, it makes a lot of sense to me. Some news from overseas as coronavirus cases rise. Russia is putting in new coronavirus restrictions in place, a national mask mandate for public places and public transportation. It's too bad. Now we can't see all those famous Russian smiles.
Jimmy Fallon.
Say Myers.
That's Fallon.
Some news from overseas with coronavirus cases rising. Russia is putting a new safety protocol in place.
Russia is introducing a national mask mandate. People in this country are going to have to wear masks when they're in public spaces, on public transports, in parking lots, and inside elevators.
It's too bad. Now we won't be able to see all those famous Russian smiles.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but Little Pump has endorsed Donald Trump for president. If you don't know who that is, don't worry. Either does Donald Trump.
Ted Smith.
I think it's Seth.
That's Ted.
Ted. Nice one.
You guys know who Little Pump is?
Heard it
because of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guarantee Trump's like, who?
Yeah,
no, he's a kind of a famous guy. Just let it go.
Trump is Gucci Gang now. That was his song. Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang. For her 40th birthday, Kim Kardashian rented a private island and bought everyone she knows. This is the post that got everyone crazy. She said, after 2 weeks of multiple health screens and getting everyone to quarantine, I surprised my inner circle with a trip to a private island where we could pretend things are normal just for a brief moment in time. And I'm humbly reminded of how privileged my life is. For those of you who spent your birthday this year eating a ding-dong along in your apartment, Kim Kardashian is humbly reminded.
Myers.
Valid.
Kimmel.
For her 40th birthday, Kim Kardashian rented an island and brought everyone she knows to it. This is the post that got everyone crazy. She wrote, after 2 weeks of multiple health screens and asking everyone to quarantine, I surprised my closest inner circle with a trip to a private island where we could pretend things were normal just for a brief moment in time. I'm humbly reminded of how privileged my life is. For those of you who spent your birthday this year eating a ding-dong alone in your apartment, Kim Kardashian is humbly reminded, so...
Sometimes it's better to just shut up.
Yeah.
If she just posted the pictures, you're like, oh, it's Kim Kardashian doing Kim Kardashian, right? And that would have been the beginning and end of it. But once you make the trying to appeal to us, like, no, listen, we know how you roll. Don't tell us that. Shut up.
Yeah, I think part of it, too, is like, right, you want to post the pictures, but then during COVID times, you feel like you have to put a reason, like, hey, this is where that happened. You know what I mean?
Say the reason, because I'm rich.
Well, I'm just saying,
Right,
like,
I know.
everybody screamed this and that, but then we went to a private island. Yeah. I mean, look, I did it, right? I went to a wedding. I was like, it was 30 people. Everybody was tested.
Sure.
Because if you just say you went to a wedding, then it's like, oh, did you go to a super spreader event?
Was it a private island?
It was not a private island.
Well, then we don't care.
I shared a room with my buddy Dave.
Just like
You
Kim
and
Kardashian.
Dave on an island.
And that damn cat. Meow. Meow. Still thinking about that bastard. All right. Has anybody watched Borat yet? Borat 2?
No, I have not seen it yet.
Mike? Yeah. Nope. All right. Well, there's a lady in the movie who's basically like a babysitter, okay? She's 62 years old, Janice Jones. She's kind of become one of the breakout stars of this movie. She's tasked with watching Borat's daughter, Tutar, while he takes care of some business. Anyhow, she's a very nice lady. She ends up making this girl like herself, think for herself, and as they say, most importantly, to refuse getting ginormous breast implants her father wants her to get.
Oh, my God.
Now, the problem is this lady is just an actual, like, older lady that babysits.
Right.
She had no idea who Borat is. She has no idea she was in the film. This and that. It was actually her pastor who recommended her for the film. They were scouting churches in Oklahoma and looking for the right babysitter. So then when she saw this, she was a little annoyed that she got tricked.
Of course.
But here's the other thing. I don't expect a 62-year-old woman in Oklahoma to even have seen the first Borat.
No.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't expect anybody here in Washington State when he came up here to a gun show or whatever it was to think about that either. Or Enumclaw or wherever it was.
Right. He was at a rally, I want to say in Olympia.
Okay.
Right. But I'm saying, like, for people like us, I couldn't be like, oh, damn, I feel betrayed by Borat.
Sure. We know who he is. We want to be in his movie. Yeah.
Right. I'm saying this lady, I don't think had ever seen the original. Right. She was obviously a little upset, but it's fine. Social media loves her. Everybody likes her in the role. People asked her to run for president. Her pastor set up a GoFundMe for her because she's been out of work during the pandemic. She only made $3,600 for the movie. As of last night, more than $105,000 raised for it.
Good. Damn.
Yeah. I also liked this in an interview the other day. She said she hadn't seen Borat 2 yet because she doesn't have Amazon Prime.
She will now.
Speaking of Amazon Prime, this shouldn't be shocking to you, but like basically when you buy a video from Amazon, like you don't own it forever.
No. Of course not.
Yeah, a lot of people, like a woman filed a class action lawsuit earlier this month saying it was unfair competition and false advertising, claiming the company secretly reverses the right to end a customer's access to content they purchased. But Amazon was just like, it's no secret when you buy digital content, you're actually paying for a limited license.
Right. I mean, it's digital content, and they control it. So it's not that they're being mean. They're kind of letting you know, hey, based on our business model, some things might disappear.
Yeah, I mean, every time I click on, Netflix, it reminds me that I'm going to a third-party site.
Exactly. But again, if I go to the movie theater, remember those days? Oh, we were the days. If I paid, I don't know, took my kids to see the Transformer movie when it came out. We saw it, and it cost a lot of money. But when it was done, I didn't own it.
Yeah.
I understood, I know what I'm paying for. It's a limited 2-hour engagement, and that's done. It's a waste of money, kids are happy, whatever. But yeah, same thing on the digital platforms.
You think you go back to theaters?
Because I have kids.
Yeah. I still think people will go back for the big action movies.
I think people will, because that's where you want to see them. Or the hey, we made this movie specifically to get an Oscar. This would normally be the time of the year they release all those.
It's kind of interesting.
I don't go for those movies, but
I'm
I think
not a big blockbuster movie guy, but if it's a big enough movie and I want to see it, I'm going. If a Star Wars movie came out or something I have interest in, I want to see it in the theater.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. You can rent a lot of movies, and I like that now, especially everything's just coming out on video, so you can watch it at home. But I still think, a year from now, hopefully, if you can go see that movie or the new Star Wars or something
it's like anything. It's like
go to the theater and watch it.
Nobody's starving. People are still eating, but people want to go to a restaurant, right? It's just the experience of it. Going to movies, generally speaking, is a pretty good time. You got some decent food. You're going to eat crap food and drink soda when you're there. Presumably, you're with someone you like. I mean, it's set up to be a good time. So, yeah, for the experience, absolutely.
Yeah, and even though you're sitting in the dark, you're still experiencing it with other people.
Right. So the laughter's there, the whatever,
Right.
Sounds great. Picture's great.
When I hear something crazy, in a movie at my house, right, it's just me yelling.
Right, that's it.
You know what I mean? As opposed to...
Don't open the door! Ow, damn it.
Right. As opposed to the whole theater being like, ooh. I mean, hell, I do it. I do it with sports, right? I'll Zoom my cousin just to have somebody to watch sports with.
Right, and all you're doing is talking about the thing you're staring at.
Yeah.
I'd go to a sporting event if they had it in a movie theater, depending on if it was my team.
That's true. If the Super Bowl comes on, your team's there, and you can't afford to actually go.
And I'm going to one of those places like a Mount Lake Terrace where you can drink beer and order chicken wings and all that stuff.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm in.
That's the only issue I would have, because you're right. It would be cool to see a big sporting event in a movie theater.
But yeah, you need alcohol.
You need alcohol, you need food, and honestly, we need to get rid of some of the chairs so we can stand up and move around.
Right.
Uh-oh.
You don't have to turn the lights all the way down.
What's up, Mac?
They actually did that at a theater down in Enumclaw.
Oh, no kidding.
There's a theater called the Chalet Theater. It is absolutely fantastic. When things open back up, I recommend people go down there. But it went under new management, and they started showing the Seahawks games down there, and he got a license to where he could actually sell beer down there.
That is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. That was the way to watch the Super Bowl. Yeah. It was the wrong Super Bowl to watch for the friends that went there, but it was the way to watch the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty cool.
Hell, if they could, take one of these 16-screen megaplexes. As a Ravens fan, very difficult to actually see my team. Yes, they will play this week, but otherwise it's all red zone and snippets. If they said, look, there's 16 games, there's 32 teams, each theater is a different team. Basically, it becomes your sports bar.
Mm-hmm. Or
the Jets fans, they're in their movie theater. I'm going to sit down and granted, this week I'd share it with Pittsburgh fans. But like anything, when you go to the sporting event, at least in my experience, nobody minds talking smack to each other, but we're not getting fist fights and all that. It's just the joy of the sport.
Right. And you're with people that are like-minded. So even if you have 16 or you have 8, if you just have one designated theater, there's a theater in Annapolis, Maryland, you rent the theater out. You can invite friends for a birthday party. You get to pick the movie.
Sure.
All that stuff. There's couches in there. There's tables. There's pool. You have your own little mini bar in there. There's waitresses and waiters coming in to take care of you. Even if it was just the finale for The Bachelorette.
Right, if that's what you're into.
You have 20 or 30 people who want to go watch the damn thing, and you're all in it together, and you all really care about what's going on. Or, Thursday night football, or whatever.
Even this game.
The Sounders match, whatever it is, you know what I mean? If you pay $5, you go in there, you eat, you drink, and you're with your friends, why not? And even if you don't know the people, you all know you're Sounders fans.
Sure.
And a lot of the sporting events do this already. Like when I went to the Florida-Georgia game, we didn't bother going to the game, but there was areas around the stadium that just had these massive screens. So you just pay like $5 to get in there, and then same thing. It was like being in the stadium, but there was porta potties. You just kind of sit in the grass and
you
hang
hear
out.
the crowd roar. You hear all that stuff.
And I know in Europe that's a big deal too for like World Cup matches. Like if you're in Italy, there's just going to be a famous, I don't know what you'd call that area, a park, whatever.
Yeah, I know because they always show
the
image,
right? And you see people just going nuts and going crazy.
Did that with the Stanley Cup in Vancouver.
Yeah, you just put a big TV outside,
just standing there watching the game, right? But there's something about doing it with thousands of people that are like-minded.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hell, I remember when Maryland won a national title in basketball.
Yeah, well, of course.
Back in 2001, I mean, my buddy Bernie put a sheet up on the side of his mom's house, and we had a projector. And I remember the city bus stopping by, and the guy opening the door. He just wanted to watch the game.
Who's winning?
Yeah, It was wild. It's pretty awesome. All right, I got kind of a funny list here. These are the top 10 scariest G-rated movies.
G-rated.
Do you have any
Is that
guesses?
like Wizard of Oz, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, right. That would be
Wizard
G-rated.
of Oz was
I was thinking the flying monkeys,
That's
witch, all those things.
I was never scared of the witch. It was those goddamn monkeys. What do you think of now, Mike?
I feel like Pee-wee's Big Adventure would be on there. Isn't that like a Tim Burton one where it's got like some really big spooky thing that scared like a ton of children?
No.
Yeah, don't overthink it too much.
I'll tell you this. My son absolutely loved Pee-wee. He's very confused about the movie, and finally he just said, Dad, you know Pee-wee? I said, yeah, man. He goes, is he an adult or a kid? And like my agent, and I said, I just thought, yes.
How about Where the Wild Things Were?
Where they were.
That one that people...
Where the Wild... I think that was PG, actually.
Okay, because I know people said that
So
movie
some of them are like, number 9 on the list is Toy Story 3. Toys outgrow their usefulness, and it comes down to a point where they're on the brink of destruction.
Oh, yeah, it got incinerated.
So they hold hands and welcome the end.
Yeah, they're about to die.
Let's see, what else is on here? From 1996, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. It explores the evils of fanaticism, persecution, and obsession. It is, quote, one of the darkest animated films in history.
Not to mention, that's one of those movies where you're convincing your kid that the hero you're supporting is a guy that looks like Quasimodo.
Yeah.
So for little kids, that's kind of hard to get past.
For an old school movie, they just had a scary scene, Pinocchio. Mostly for the Pleasure Island sequence where young boys are transformed into donkeys and sold into slavery.
Jesus. Okay.
I kind of forgot about that part, too.
That was pretty G.
Yeah. Right. A little more modern. What else we got on this list? The Brave Little Toaster. It's about a group of derelict appliances seeking to find purpose by finding the person who abandoned them decades ago.
Oh, Jesus.
Along the way, they almost get crushed at a scrapyard.
By the evil air fryer.
2001, Monsters, Inc. It relies...
It had a couple scary moments. The problem with that movie was it was too long.
And it also reinforces the concept that monsters are living under your bed.
Right, so even they tell the kid, no, look, man, at the end of the movie, it's about laughter. My kids are like, right, but up until the end of the movie, their sole purpose is to scare the living bejesus out of me. So leave the light on when you say goodnight tonight.
Right. I mean, that's what they're saying. Like, I get it. It's a fun movie, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, if your kid's scared there's monsters under the bed, don't show them Monsters, Inc.
Because that's where the monsters are. And if they're not under the bed, they are in the closet, just like you said they are.
Yeah, and they're hungry. And then number 1...
Oh, Jesus. I think they took that part out, okay.
The number 1, The Secret of Nim. 1982, haunting imagery, near-death experiences, and a darkness that can stay with you.
I've never seen that movie, but everyone I know that has seen that movie is like, it's effed up and it messed them up as a kid.
That's one with some rats in it, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, we watched those terrible, like, I remember we watched the original Hobbit movie when I was in grade school.
That's a freaky
the cartoon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching.
Is that the one where they kill the rabbits and all that stuff?
It was weird. And what's his name? Gollum was different, man. Okay. I mean, I was like, what did we watch?
Yeah, that was some scary stuff.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
All right, let's clear this garage. Start a pile here for donations, one over here for recycling, and one more over here for trash. Hang on, what are you doing?
Recycling?
We may need that paint one day, and that can't be recycled.
First, this can looks older than me. And second, paintcare.org says you can.
Paintcare.org. Let me see. Oh, and there's a drop-off site close by. And it's free? Nice.
Dad, no.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Florida man pays $150 to have a leopard rip off half his face. Meanwhile, a man in China on meth opens a window of his 30th floor apartment and it rains money all over the place. Tampa man gets 7 years for pretending to be CIA in $4 million scheme. Groom smashes entire cake in wife's face, ruining her wedding day dream. And a man slips an iPhone repairman a Benji to erase his call history. And you know why. It is time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
All right, top story. We go to the lovely world of the internet where a student has learned the hard way to double-check her work. And we in no way heard this story earlier today. In a video shared on TikTok, it shows a woman laughing hysterically at her friend who was in tears about a paper that she wrote for her school. And it turns out that she submitted the paper without editing the title, which read, quote, "Stupid effing paper that has no meaning," at the top of every single page.
Each one.
Yeah, good job. Good work. In other news, sticking with TikTok, a phone repairman shared a video of an interesting story on the social platform. The video shows a phone that he was about to repair that was brought in by a couple. But inside the phone is a $100 bill and a note that reads, quote, "Please tell my wife the phone is unfixable. She wants to check the call history. $100 is yours. Thanks." This was met with mixed reviews in the comments, with people calling to respect the bro code as well as pocketing the $100 and telling her anyway.
Right. Don't take the 100.
Right.
I'm taking the 100.
Don't take the 100.
You just give it right back and say, you'd sell the guy out.
I wouldn't sell the guy out. I'll give him his phone back. Yeah, I took your 100, but that's on you.
Gotcha.
Because look, you're not going to tell your wife, man, I slipped him 100 to get rid of my call history. Again, I'll leave that up to you.
Right.
If you want to tell her, I will hand you your 100 back.
Don't worry, she already knows, because when she says, "Let me see your call history," and your response is,
"Yeah, smash it."
Yeah, right. Right. Don't worry, she knows.
Subtle.
The first sentence of this story says it all, and I'm just going to read it to you. It says, quote, "A man who paid $150 for a full contact experience with a black leopard says he had to undergo multiple surgeries after he was mauled by the fully grown animal."
He paid for that.
What did he think was going to happen?
Right.
And I like the guy that took his money. Hey, man, you got a leopard here. Yeah, I do.
Right.
I would love to interact with him. I don't know, man. It was kind of dangerous. Look, I'll give you $150.
Right.
I would question him twice. You're going to give me $150 to interact with this leopard.
Right.
Yes. Are
this
you sure?
Jungle cat here.
Yes. Okay.
Where was it?
Florida.
Yes.
Wow. Right. Yeah, guy's going to give you $100. Like, okay.
And here, sign all this paperwork that relieves me of any and all responsibility. You are willingly walking into this cage, paying me for the privilege, mind you, to walk into this cage. Right.
And the thing is, for free, that leopard would mess you up. So that's the beauty of it to me. And you can't fix stupid. At some point, you're at a certain age, like, I can't fix stupid.
Actually,
but
the surgeons did.
The leopard can.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is that illegal if somebody wants to pay you to tangle with your animal?
I think it should be.
It should be based on the animal that you
don't have like the bear experience at the Woodland Park Zoo. You can't just walk into the cage.
But this is a private owner.
Right.
Yeah, it's a private owner. You came to my house. You willingly want to do it. There probably is a law somewhere, and if there's not, there will be.
If you're an exotic pet owner, there are different rules or different laws than if you have a dog or a cat, you know?
But
let nature take its course, Miles.
If you pay me $150, you can wrestle my dog.
But see, here's the thing. There shouldn't be a law against it because it's up to someone to approach you to want to give you money to say, wrestle your tiger. I would assume if I owned a tiger, most people would not come up to me and be like, hey, man, $150 if you let me get in that cage with him.
Right. Now, that being said, I don't think he was actually trying to wrestle the leopard because nobody's going to win that fight.
He walked right in and attacked him immediately.
Yes.
That's a leopard. Again, you go, okay.
He wanted to go in and pet the kitty. Okay, well, kitty wants to eat your face. Enjoy. Criminy. Moving on. A man in Virginia has been brought down after a multi-year scheme that pulled millions out of companies and contractors. For years, this man posed as a covert CIA operative and convinced people that he was working on a classified task force. He was actually so convincing that when federal investigators asked about him, people would not come clean about the information, fearing that they could compromise his secret program. He was finally brought down after he had collected more than $4 million from people that felt that it was their patriotic duty to actually support this guy.
One thing to leaving out of this is not that he just got $4 million from people. Some of those people are called the federal government.
Right.
He had them tricked. And then, like they said, the FBI, they could get some witnesses, but they couldn't get a lot of witnesses because they truly believe the guy was coached. So they felt like their patriotic duty is like, look, he told us this is going to happen.
He's on this secret mission to protect us from Russia or whatever.
And if you're wondering, just so he did have one accomplice that worked with him, who also worked at the federal government. But this dude who pulled it off for a while, he's a former DEA guy. So he did have some understanding of how federal dollars. Yeah. It wasn't just like I rolled into. I'm a CIA agent. So.
Right.
But still, I'm impressed with the guy.
How many CIA agents, though, would ever actually come out and say, I work for the CIA, I need you to give me $4 million in protection?
Right, that's my first. If you tell me that, I don't believe it.
Right.
Not if you're you can say I work for the CIA, I'm a janitor. You go, okay.
Exactly.
But not, I'm covert, deeply embedded.
And you owe me. You're exactly right. Like, I know people that work for the NSA, and they all say the same thing. I'm a mechanic.
I'm a mathematician. They're not.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. But they'll admit they work there, but they've never extorted money.
I would like to think that the Central Intelligence Agency would be better than just telling everybody that they're covert operative and it's very imperative that my cover not get blown.
One thing that if someone tells you they're a covert operative, they're not.
Right. There's about 15 listening to us right now saying he's right. Over in China, someone took video of a weather phenomenon that everyone wishes that they could be in. The video shows traffic at a standstill as people leapt out of their cars to pick up the remnants of the money raining down on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Turns out someone had taken a lot of methamphetamine and started flinging the cash out of the window of the 30th floor of their building.
So just because you're on meth, I got to give them the money back? I don't think so.
Yeah, right?
They don't have to get the money back,
I don't think so.
No, Lord, no. He gave it away.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the leopard thing.
Exactly.
I don't expect someone to throw money at me, but if you do, I'm going to keep it.
Now, if it accidentally fell out the window, I'd feel a little bit more sorry for you, but you didn't have to take that methamphetamine to start throwing your money out the 30th window.
No. You threw it out.
Exactly.
Throw a piece of chicken out, I'm taking it.
Bingo. He was charged by authorities, and he's getting treatment for his drug abuse problem. That is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time for the weekend and the exciting return of Ted versus the FCC. And don't forget, Bad Choice Friday is back, bitches.
Yes, indeed. It is all true. But in the meantime, we be all up out this bitch. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.